Hi everyone, so I'm back today with a new video and I'm going to be talking about the iPad Pro. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the larger one, this is the 12.9 inch, and the smaller one, which is a 9.7 inch. I'm not going to go too much into detail about the technical specifications of the different models because there's tons of videos out there already where you can find that information. So I'm going to be focusing more on kind of my thoughts on it, what I use them for, because I use them both for very different things, and which ones I would recommend depending on what you're going to use it for, and some of my favourite apps. So the first thing that you'll notice is the size. The 12.9 is significantly bigger than the 9.7. I know that there's now a 10.5 inch and I've been into store and had a look at that, and it's basically the same size as the smaller one. It's just the screen fills more of the face. It doesn't have the chin and the forehead that these ones do. So that's the kind of size difference. This one is much heavier. Even when I take my rucksack to work, this is so heavy, especially when you've got a case on it, and obviously it's really big. It's not one that, in my opinion, you can kind of take out and about with you. Like, imagine whipping this out on the train. It's enormous. Whereas this one is much smaller, much lighter, more portable. So the size is kind of a big thing with the two different models. The 12.9 inch is about the size of an A4 piece of paper. It's actually bigger than my MacBook Air. So it is quite large, and as I say, I do use them for very different things. So I guess I should probably say what I actually use them for. So this larger one I use for my Etsy business. I run an Etsy shop on the side selling prints and hand calligraphied, all kinds of different things. So that is what I use this for. This is the first one that I got because I wanted to start getting more into my calligraphy and creating prints, and that's why I got this one first. And yeah, I use Procreate, which is my favourite app. This is an example of a print that I've done in Procreate. So this is what I use it for, because you've got much more kind of surface area for drawing. So if you're an artist or a hand letterer, or you're wanting to get into calligraphy, this is obviously great for practicing and using it for that purpose, but you're not going to be able to take it out and about with you. This stays exclusively like in the house. So I do also do some kind of doodles and things on the smaller one, but you don't have as much surface area. So if I was trying to do a print for a customer, it would be harder because there's not as much room on the screen, whereas you get so much more space with this one. So from an artistry point of view or lettering, this is the better iPad. But again, if you're just getting it for that, maybe look at other options like, I don't know, I know there's a Surface and Wacom tablets and things like that that you can use. So yeah, so that's the main things I use it for. I use this large one for all of my art stuff, like I say, and actual business prints. I use this smaller one for pretty much everything else. I use this all the time. I absolutely love this iPad. I use it every single day. So some of my favourite apps are Procreate, which I just showed you. This is an amazing app. Honestly, I can't tell you how good it is. These are just a few kind of things that I've done in there. These, as you can see, these are just for my own kind of, I don't know, what would you say, my own pleasure sort of thing, whereas the stuff I do on here is for my customers. So I tend to do my doodles on this one. I absolutely love garden escapes. I find it really kind of stress relieving after a difficult day. I love using Pinterest on here. I really love Pinterest. I spend way more time on here than I should. But yeah, so I use Pinterest. I also watch a lot of YouTube on here, and I really like the YouTube interface. One of the main things that I use the iPad for, the smaller one, is for my music. So I find sheet music online and then I import it into iBooks, and then I just put it in front of the piano and I've got all of my sheet music here. I've got music theory books and all that kind of good stuff. So that's something else I use it for a lot. Another one of my favourite apps is VSCO or VSCOcam, however you want to say it. I use this to edit all of my photographs. I just love it. I pay for the film presets as an extra. I think it was like £19 for the year. And I just really love it. FP4 is my favourite filter, if anybody was wondering. Something else I use the small iPad for is GoodNotes, and this is where I keep kind of my notes, my to-do list, ideas, things like that. You can just see there, I've just written a few things. Let's have a look what else we've got in here. These are all different. This is like a little crib sheet I did for my camera when I lent it to a friend. This is like a little packing list I did when I was going away for the weekend. But as you can see, I don't always keep it neat. Sometimes it is literally just like that. So I'm not going to go through all of my apps, but these are kind of what I've got in my photo and video folder. These are a few games and things like that. This is everything that I use to run my Etsy shop. These are my art apps. As I say, Procreate is pretty much the main thing that I use. It's amazing, and I think I'm going to do a separate video going more into detail about Procreate and hand lettering, because I know a few of you have requested that, but it is just so good. I absolutely love it. So yeah, if any of you would like a more in-depth video on hand lettering on the iPad Pro and using Procreate and how I've created some of these things that I've drawn that you can see, I'm going to be doing that hopefully in the next couple of weeks, so look out for that. Other than like the price and the technical specifications and differences, I'd encourage you to kind of go and research that separately. But if you're kind of not sure, just think about what you want to actually use it for. But if you're really serious about like pursuing calligraphy or your art or any kind of illustration and things like that, I would recommend going for the larger one, particularly if you're not wanting to like transport it around with you and that kind of stuff. This is obviously better because you've got the larger surface area, but you need to be prepared. It is absolutely enormous. Look at it in comparison to the size of my hand. So if you're kind of just buying it for a bit of everything, I would recommend going for a smaller size. This is the 9.7, or I would suggest the 10.5, which is the newer model. This I take out every single day. I take it to work with me. I use it constantly. I hardly ever use any other device other than this iPad. I do everything on it. Like I say, I always like take it and use it on the train. I watch YouTube videos on my lunch break, and then on an evening I'll kind of have a look on Pinterest or watch some YouTube. I always use the smaller one, and even for my doodles, as you've seen, I tend to do them on the smaller one. But anything that's kind of client work or something that I want to be kind of more professional and I just want to be better, basically, I do it on the bigger one because I do get better results, because I've got more space to actually draw and do my lettering. So that's why I use the bigger one for that. So they serve very different purposes. I guess you just need to ask yourself, do you want to take it out and about with you? Because that is the main kind of, that's kind of the deal breaker really for me, because I've tried taking this out and about with me a few times and it's just not practical. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be doing an in-depth video about calligraphy and hand lettering and kind of the doodles and things like that, how I use Procreate. Please let me know in the comments below if there's anything in particular that you would like me to cover in my Procreate Calligraphy iPad Pro video, and I will make sure I do that. But that's everything for today, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon for more videos.